Hello, hello, is the stream working? Hello, let's see. Hello, 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 is the stream working? Hello, let's see. Okay, it's working. Hello. So let's currently increase the voice and let's do a thing. Increase the mic volume a bit. So it reaches the max level. I don't know why I'm screaming. I'm testing my mic level. Ah, ah. I don't know what happening. Bro, it's so weird. Uh, I don't know what the hell happened to my this thing, my feed. I'm getting so weird feed. I don't know. Like, bro, what for what joy? I just searched one single thing. It was Hell Yeah Core. Like Linkin Park and stuff. I searched about this, and after that, my feed went so bad. And let's continue to making what the fuck? Okay, let's continue. Souls style game.
Dreaming of IT but not interested in coding?
Also,
Well,
in
you're
last
not alone.
stream,
But you know
I
what?
got a copyright for playing songs. Maybe I can change my desktop output. Let's see. Add source, application audio capture. Save executive. And maybe add opera.exe. Okay, so if I play this,
So very important, let's get this and do a clamp float.
you'll be able
So
to
it'll be
hear
in
this.
range. Connect this over here.
And you're able to see my screen too. And what if I play songs? Let's see. Are you able to hear this? No. Yes, let's go. It's working. I won't get no more copyright. Let's go. Let's play something else, then start playing this.
And you're gonna see
Where were we? We were at health start, right?
to
Let's open Unreal. I don't never open Unreal Engine. So many background apps are present. Oh my god, what the fuck? Is it allowed to cuss on YouTube? I don't know. I'm cussing for some reason. No thanks. Launch. I mean, this system is good. I'm listening to songs and you can't listen to it. So I won't get a copyright too and I'll enjoy my music while working. And in the last part, we were adding health stats. Let's click. That is my project. I'm learning, right?
you know, it empty, right?
Let it open, let it open, let it open. Today some weird thing happened. I thought I 1 second. It's working, right? Yeah, so I thought I'll start streaming and I wore the mic, I clipped it here, and then my mom told me to went out. I went out, I came back, realized mic was on the whole time. It was there on my t-shirt and I didn't realize it. Wow, so weird I am. Yes, let's reopen. Okay, I was at my custom event die and we are here, correct?
Sorry, not in the branch, but in the sequence I meant, okay? With that said, we are pretty much good to go. We just need to, you know, we need to make sure that the value will be from 0 to the max value. So very important, let's get this and do a clamp float. So it'll be in range. Connect this over here, and you're gonna simply just make sure that the
Oh,
minimum is 0 and the max is, well, new variable, which will be max health.
okay, so we are promoting this to variable called max health.
Nice. So the health by default will be, like 80, okay? And the max health will be like 100. Okay, let's make that. And then we actually good to go. Let's go ahead and make sure that they are exposed. Go to the third person character blueprint and add BPC stats. And the we can also edit them from here, which is
Okay, then what does he do?
go to the third person character blueprint
Okay,
and add BPC stats.
and add a BPC stats. So let's go to third person character blueprint and add a BPC stats. And wait, let me open the viewport. Yeah, this was this thing. How do I fold the fingers? Okay, let's see that later. I'm still unsatisfied with the results for some reason. I don't know why I want so much. Compile, compile.
And the we can also edit them from here, which is very nice, right? Cool. And the we can also edit them from here, which is very nice, right?
Okay.
Cool. So now this actually works, but we need to, make sure that when I receive damage, or the player or the enemy or whatever receives damage, we update that stat. So let's go into the third person blueprint and let's add an event any damage node. Okay, so when I receive
Event any damage node. Add an event any damage node. Wow.
damage through the Unreal Damage interface, I can call the stats component and do an increase value. And you're probably wondering, well, I want to decrease it, not increase it. Unreal Damage interface, I can call the stats component
Okay.
component and do an increase value. And you're probably wondering, well, I want to decrease it, not increase it, right? Well, the thing is that there's a nice trick. First of all, as you can see, it's really cool because we have a drop down with our enumerator with whatever stat we want to change.
So from the basics of Blueprint, what I got to know, this white line is executing and it's in the way how it's gonna execute. And all this stuff connects variable, float, correct?
And then there's a trick which is just to multiply the value by -1 to invert it. And now we would
Multiply -1. Oh no, -1. Okay, let's save it.
subtract it instead of
Okay, this much I
add it, right?
understood.
And there we go. Like damage, and that's pretty much it. Of course, we will also need to play like a hit damage, we will do a bit later. And that's that done. Back to the die.
We are handpicking only 150 students this year from across India for our flagship PG program in startup.
Add it. And what I want to do is simply do one thing, which is to get the character movement component and the save of the movement, so I can
So on event die. No, event die. Okay, I did not add the die interface.
move
Wow.
a sound as minus that's print. We actually like there we go. Alright, so now we have the damage system, but we don't have the health system or stat system. So let's begin with this. And once again, this code is vector. Then I want to add health, and here we can cool thing we can do that we want. Function comes in, update it, and then we can do a little sequence over here, right? Third person character blueprint, and then now this I receive and let the do an increase.
Okay. Then where does he add a die?
On the second so let's leave. We don't need to mix and do a minimum be and add very nice, right? Give damage into the okay, so that's I want to go into that, which is to make face or parameters, but and add die. So I'm gonna go back to the damage interface and add a new function which will be die. And I don't need any inputs or parameters, but now on here I want to add it. Any input interface and add a new function which will be die. And I don't need any inputs or parameters, but now on here I want to add it. And what I want to do is simply do one thing, which is to get the character movement component and the save of the movement, so I cannot move anymore when I die.
Okay.
And
Character disable movement. So we disable movement when the character dies.
Then what I want to do is get the mesh and set the simulate physics
Get mesh.
to true. This
Set stimulate physics. Set simulate physics, which will happen after disabling movement. I guess that is for playing the action.
will essentially simulate physics on all the bones, enabling for ragdoll. So let's select the mesh and we need to change a collision setting, which is this is going to be on custom, and on
Custom.
collision enabled this will be enabled.
Oh, it's for the mesh. In collision presets. Custom. Collision enabled. Query physics.
And that's it. This will be thigh. That's it. This will be thigh. And now from the BPC stats on the event graph on the die, I can simply just get the owner.
So in BPC stats in die, get owner, get owner,
And I can do the die function.
die function.
As you can see, I don't need to have a reference or cast into the third person character because it's a nice interface which works. So this means that right now on my BPC damage or combat, sorry, on the sword traits, what I can do is if I detect a,
So in return, so from that return value in a branch,
actor, what we can do from here is break this.
break
And
it result. Oh, okay. So now we are defining what happens if it touches.
from the hit actor, simply apply damage with this node. This node is part of the Unreal damage interface, which means that it will connect with the event any damage of our player. So I can have, just add a damage, for example 10, or create a variable which will be like the damage.
Sword damage upload.
Right, as a default value of 10 or something. And that's pretty much it. So I can press play.
This is the best course I can say. It is perfectly fine. In just one course, in 6 months, you will be completely prepared for the placements or internships, whether it be related to system design, DSA, coding, computer science.
Go here, 10 or something. And
Let's convert sword damage to d5. Let's start running it. One, two.
that's pretty much it.
Okay.
So I can press play, go here, and start to hit him. And he should go ahead and die. But he doesn't die. So what is happening over here? Well, right now let's make sure that we are receiving damage, right? So let's add a print string of hello. As you can see, it prints hello. And we are actually going ahead and getting the receiving damage and doing this. So as you can see, I don't know where this came from, but we're adding another input here. No, I want to remove the pin.
Where's the default wala part?
So now we are make sure and so this I want to add it. Any image into make our we actually will do a bit of edit, right? One, there's a blueprint. Whatever receives damage works, but we need here, which is very nice, right?
So in BPC stats, It's gonna be there. Oh yeah.
Cool. So now this actually works, but we need to, make sure that when I receive damage, or the player or the enemy or whatever receives damage, we update that stat. So let's go into the third person blueprint and let's add an damage, which damage the receiver. So wonder what damage, right? Now, yes, as you can see, there we go, a character dies. And you might wonder what, we only applied 10 of damage. Why is he dying? Well, that's because we have this on a timer where every 0.01 seconds it will execute a trace applying 10 of damage. So actually we are not applying 10, we're applying 10 of damage times whatever amounts of traces we're doing every 0.01 seconds, right? So we are essentially adding with a huge amount of damage. So instead,
Designing on a tight budget? Order free samples or small quantities directly from the NX.
what we want to do after the branch is do a do once node, right? And control this with a little buffer. Okay, so basically we are only gonna allow damage to
Do once. Then add a delay.
happen every around 0.3 seconds, and I'm gonna reset this. Okay, that way we can control this and allow damage to happen every around 0.3 seconds, and I'm gonna reset this. Okay,
It's looking so weird, bro.
that way we can control this, which will be a bit more control hits to actually go ahead.
So if my damage is 5, I have to hit him 1. Oh, I have to hit it around 16 times. Let's see if I save it and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, okay.
And kill this enemy, which has like 80 of damage, and there we go. Now he was successful. On another thing, which is animation, when we import another animation, which I will inside of characters, souls, combat, and right over here I will import another animation, which I will link in the description.
Oh, that's called hit react. Anime. Souls. combat, import, go to asphalt. Oh, hit react.
So hit react, we set to default, and then this will be the SK mannequin from Union 5, and then you simply import, and there we go. It's very straightforward. This is little damage, right? Right click, create
1 second.
a mannequin from Union 5, and then you simply import, and there we go. It's very straightforward. This is little damage, right? Right click, create anim montage, sorry. So there we go. We can play this from blueprints, and then I'm gonna go to content, third person, blueprints, third person, and on the damage right after we go into stats and increase or decrease the value, whatever we're doing, right? And then montage, sorry, little damage, right? Right click, create anim montage, sorry.
Right click. Bro, why does this get stuck for no reason?
So there we go. We can play this from blueprints, and then I'm gonna go to content, third person, blueprints, third person, and on the damage right after we go into stats and increase or decrease the value, whatever we're doing, right? I'm gonna simply just do a
After increasing value.
play montage, and this will be an montage node. Get the mesh, put in the here react, and that's pretty much it.
2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3. No, wait.
So we can simply just make sure that when we receive damage or the player receives damage, there we go, we play a little of that animation.
What? Oh,
Pretty much
working.
it. So it's time, there we go, we play a little of that animation, which is cool. Now another thing that I want to do is make sure that you cannot move when you receive damage. So let's do a little thing, which is to get the character movement component, and it's to set the max walk speed.
Set a max walk speed. Get character movement. Set walk.
To be simply 0. Okay. And then copy this, connect this, and then on completed or interrupted, we're gonna have this to 480, which was the default one.
Oh, one completed. Interrupted. What was our max walk speed? It was 480. 480. Is the stream working? It was 480. Set a max walk speed.
Is to get the character movement
Speed. Okay. Is the stream working? Stream is working.
just make sure to go to character movement component, walk speed 480, 480. There we go. Okay, just making sure. All right, so now I'm gonna add a debug key. Okay, debug key of 1, for example, that will apply damage to me. So I can apply damage to what actor? Well, self. And let's do like 10 of damage, right? So now when I go ahead and...
You don't need a second job. You just need to learn how to talk to AI.
So,
are moving and press 1. So you can see I receive damage and I don't move, right? Which is a little like buffer that you get. You're gonna move, right? It's a bit nicer. And then we can also attack, and if I receive damage, we don't break the attack animation. Why? Well, this is simply because, as you can see, we die also, which is cool, right? This is because on the, where is it, the blueprint of the combat, right? On the attack animation, on interrupted, we add this. So very important. Make sure to also connect uninterrupted onto every montage. So whatever logic is.
Oh, it was in the combo wala, no? Let's add a debug and see if it's working or no. Debug 1. When it's pressed, apply damage. Base damage 5. And let's play 1. Self. That's it, and let's check. Okay, I'm dying, but it's not applying a damage. Okay, it's
Is
applying
interrupted,
damage,
we will still play, right? Because if
but
not, if I
I'm
receive
able to
damage in the
move.
middle of the combo, it will break it. But with interrupt, we don't, right? And there we go. We have a little hit react animation, which looks way nicer. All right, so now let's go ahead and create a UI for a health bar. So let's go inside of the UI, go and create a new user interface, widget blueprint, user widget, and this will be WB underscore health, or more specifically, player health.
W widget.
Widget blueprint, user widget, and this will be WB underscore health, or more specifically, player health. So in here, we're gonna simply just drag a new canvas panel.
Canvas panel. Let's drag a canvas panel and add it to here.
And then a progress bar.
And a progress bar.
So the progress bar, first of all, will have different color. It will be way more reddish, right? And in order to preview it, we can go to percent and put like 0.8 by default, right? So it goes from 0 to 1, right? Very important, you need to know this. All right, so with that said, we have a nice color. Let's change this to be the health bar, and then I'm gonna change a bit the positioning of this widget so it's nice in place. So I'm gonna go and make sure that the anchor is at the top left. As you can see in Souls like, we have it always at the top left of the screen. Let's put the alignment to be on 0, 0, so it's on the corner. And then the position 30, we can leave like 30 here, and on Y another 30, so it's parallel. And then on X we can put a size of like 600 and then like 25. And now we have
What if I want to add it here? Let's make it 500. Let's add it a bit here. Point 8. And for the color, let's keep it green.
a nice little progress bar. there on the corner. Like, make sure that is set as his variable so we can update it from the widgets, right? Cool. So now let's also right click and create another user interface. And this will be underscore HUD. Okay.
Another user interface. WV underscore HUD. Oh, it's gonna be other stuff.
Okay. And we're gonna simply just have the main HUD elements over here. But first of all, we need a canvas panel. And then we need the player health over here. Make sure that the player health has the anchor set to full, but holding control. So hold left control and click this, and now it fills the whole thing.
Canvas panel.
And over here. Make sure that the player health has the player health over here. Make sure that the player health has the anchor set to full, but holding control. So hold left control and click this, and now it fills the whole thing.
Why is it not visible?
And it has the correct position. So and this by default we have different. So in here we're gonna simply bar. So the progress bar, first of all, will have different color. It will be way more reddish, right? And in order to preview it, we can go to percent and put like 0.8 by default, right? So it goes from 0 to 1, right? Very important, you need to know this. All right, so with that said, we have a nice color. Let's change this to be the health bar, and then I'm gonna change a bit the positioning of this widget so it's nice in place. So I'm gonna go and make sure that the anchor is at the top left. As you can see in Souls Like, we have it always at the top left of the screen. Let's put the alignment to be on 0, 0, so it's on the corner, and then the position 30 we can leave like 30 here, and on Y another 30, so it's parallel, and then on X we can put a bar there on the corner. Like make sure that 25. And now we have a nice little progress bar there on the corner. Like make sure that is set as this variable so we can update it from little progress bar there on the corner. Like make sure that is set as this variable so we can update it from the widgets, right? Cool. So now let's also right click and create another user interface. And this will be WB HUD. Okay. And we're gonna simply just have the main HUD elements over here. But first of all, we need a canvas panel. And then we need the player health over here. Make sure that the player health has the
Canvas panel, player health, anchor. Let's see anyone is getting problem at 116. It's not visible.
anchor set to full, but holding control. So hold left control and click this, and now it fills the whole thing, and it has the correct position. Alright, so now back in our third person character blueprint, we can go to the begin play, and after we add the input mapping,
I can teach you code in Python in just 30 days, even if you've never written a single line of code before. How? Simple. In my 30-day Python using AI bootcamp, you don't learn to code the hard way anymore. You learn to think.
begin sim we can go to the begin play, and after we add the input mapping, we can simply create a new widget. We add the input character blueprint, we can go to the begin play, and after we add the input mapping, we can simply create a new widget. Input mapping, we can go to the begin play, and after we add the input mapping, we can simply create a new widget.
Oh, so after event play. Let's add our own event play.
And this will be the HUD. Now we can right click and promote this HUD into variable so we can access it anywhere. And this will be HUD widget. And with that said, we're gonna get the HUD and add it HUD. Right click and promote this HUD into variable so we can access it anywhere. And this will be HUD widget. And with that said, we're gonna get the HUD and add it to the viewport. If I know how to type. There we go. So we can see on the player screen, right? Let's go ahead and make a comment. This will be player to go. When I press play, we see it. But of course, we need to update it, right? When I now press 1, it doesn't do anything, right? So let's go and simply open up the blueprints folder and our BPC stats. And as you can see that we have the increased value, and I left a pin of this sequence to plug in all the code to update the health bar. But first of all, we need a reference to the health bar. But have in mind that this is a modular actor component, so we can add this not only for the player character but for enemies, right? In terms of the stats component. So what we're going to do is go to the event graph, and right over here we're going to make a very intelligent thing, okay, which is going to be right click and new custom event, and this will be the set health progress bar. And I'm gonna save this on a variable. So what I can do is receive an input of a progress bar, but it's gonna be easier if I do this. So I'm gonna, well, yeah, I need this. Okay, so as an input, do health progress bar, and it's gonna do progress bar, which is gonna be this one, object reference. And now I'm gonna right click, promote this to a variable, health progress bar, and that's it. Progress bar, and it's gonna do progress bar, which is gonna be this one. Object reference. And now I'm gonna right click, promote this to a variable, health progress bar, and that's it. Now in the increased value, I can simply get the health progress bar, do a set percent, and it will simply the percent be the health divided by the max health, because remember that the progress bars and reels go from you know 0 to 1. Now let's right click and convert this to a validated get, and only continue if it's valid, just in case we forget to set it up on an enemy or whatever, and that way we don't have an error, right? Cool, so that's done. I'm gonna go to third person character, and on the begin play I'm gonna get the stats component and do a set health bar progress.
If you're struggling every day, asking yourself 50 times a day, what should I do next? Then Time Management Mastery, do more, stress less.
Or health progress bar, and then this will simply be the hot widget get health widget and then get the health bar and plug that into there, and there we go. We have this set over here, so this will be set health. When I press 1, as you can see, it updates the health bar at the top. I know that the prompt of Unreal is covering, but we go, and it works just fine, so we're good to go. And if I was to create a health bar for the enemy, this would work just the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate the player health, and this will be simply enemy health bar, and I'm gonna change this to be the center, right? And that we're gonna put 0, 0, 0.5, 0.5, right? It's specifically centered. And now I can simply go to the enemy and apply that. But of course, this is a third person character. This isn't an enemy, so later on when we do AI, we'll plug that input, we'll have it already. Cool, so that's it with our help bars. Alright, so with that said, it is time to add dodging into our Souls-like game. So the first thing that we need to do is import some animations. So let's go inside of characters, Souls, combat, and here is right click and create a new folder and call this dodge. Great, so over here, once again, I will be leaving some animations in the description, so let's go ahead and extract them inside of Unreal and click on reset to default and select the SK mannequin for Unreal Engine 5. With that said, import all, and there we go. As you can see, we have some nice animations going on. Now we need to make sure that root motion is enabled because the movement of our dodging will be driven by root motion. Of them, right click, go to asset actions and click on edit selection in, select all of them, root motion, right log or anything like that, just root montage for each one. And now we are actually good. Create an animation montage for each one, and now we are actually good to go, as you can see with each animation. Alright, so let's go ahead and implement the dodging functionality itself. So let's go inside of our blueprints folder and open up BPC Combat. Again, we are implementing this in our combat component, so everything is nice and organized. So let's find a nice spot over here, and the first thing we need to do is actually create an input, right, as we did with our attack and everything. So go inside of our third person folder, input actions, right click, new input, where is it? There we go, action, IA underscore, and then this will be dodge. Once again, we don't even need to open it because it will be all by default.
Are you looking to transition your career into data science and find a place in companies like...
So just close it, and now in our IMC, we just need to add that new input, which will be dodge, and then select this, and this will be like space, right? Save and close. So because I assigned space, I'm gonna go real quick to my third person character blueprint, and in this jump section, I'm gonna use unplug it, okay? Because I don't want my player to jump, I want only to dodge. You can do the same thing or apply another key if you still want to jump regularly, but in my case, I want to only dodge. Alright, once want to jump regularly, but do the same thing or apply another key if you still want to jump regularly, but in my case, I want to only dodge. Let's right click and add our IA underscore dodge input over here. So when we go ahead and go and start it, we want to play a montage. In this case, the montage skeleton will be from our player blueprint, and we can get the mesh and then put that out. In this case, the montage skeleton will be, and then put that out there. And then the montage to play will be our dodge, and for now let's just put the forward one. Okay, now depending if we are on strafe or not, we need to play a different animation with the direction that we're going, but we will do that a bit later. With that said, if I now actually just, press play and press space, as you can see, we dodge really cool, right? Forwards, and honestly, we get a really cool thing. Also, we have a little like milliseconds at the end where the character is still and cannot move. That is really important. We have that in Souls games where it's like a little debuffer, right? We could say, I don't know how you could call it, but you know that, okay, you dodge, but at the end you have to be careful because you're, some milliseconds without being able to dodge, right? Or move in general. Now we can now just literally spam dodge, and we can like just gonna use fly through the level. So let's go ahead and create a new variable, and this will be something less, you know, like is dodging, right? Right, or something like that. And we need to do the same thing as with our combo, which is just to make sure that we can only dodge if we are not already dodging. So get is dodging, and the not boolean, and if we are not dodging, we can go ahead and yes, indeed dodge. But first set is dodging to true, of course, and there we go. Now on the completed set is dodging to true, of course. And there we go. Now on the completed or interrupted,
most working professionals are finding jobs the wrong way. They see a job post and
this will be set to false, of course, and there we go. The dodge button fixes dodge in every direction, right? So, and the reason that we need to open up the main third-person character is that in here we have the input, you know, movement, right, and everything like that. And from here, what we can do is get, you know, the key that we are, you know, specifically going ahead and pressing. So let's go ahead and create a new function, and this will be something as get movement direction. And from here we need an input, which in this case will be the specific input action. And this will be input action. So let's go ahead and select input action, object reference, and from so let's go ahead and select input action, object reference, and from here what we can do is use these query keys mapped to action, okay? Which essentially will need the get player controller, if I know how to type, and then from there we need the enhance player, okay? Query keys mapped to action, okay? Which essentially will need the map to action player query keys mapped to action, okay? Which essentially will need the get player controller if I know how to type, and then from there we need the enhanced subsystem of the input system and plug that into action. Into target and action into action. There you go. Cool. So I just move them around, right? From here, we're gonna make a for each loop, and I'm gonna go and check for each value checked if we have the key down. So get the player controller, and then is input key down. What key? Well, this one. And if so, that's the one that we are pressing, right? And we want to return it. So I'm gonna select the function node, add a new output, and this will be just the direction key. And once again, this will be a key structure. So what we can do instead is just literally put this here in true. Drag that as an output. Copy the name and true. Drag that as an output. Copy the name, delete it, and paste it. There we go. Nice. Copy the name, delete it, and paste it. There we go. Nice and simple. Double click on the pin nodes to reroute them.
Project manager?
Yes, 15 years of experience.
Do you have any AI certifications?
No, but I'm a fast learner.
We'll be in touch.
I don't see any AI skills here.
And cool. We're good to go. So now the only thing left is to go to the event graph and write on our movement input, which is right over here, right? Let's call the get movement direction node. Let's call the get movement direction node. And as an input action, this will be this that we receive from our input node itself. And then we simply need to right click and create a variable, and this will be the direction key. And then we simply need to right click and create a variable, and this will be the direction key. Now connect this back again with our code. Now to right click and create a variable, and this will be the direction key. Now connect this back again with our code, expand this over here, these two, move them into the left, and there we go, it's nice and organized. And then move this to the right so it fits back in, and it's like nothing happened. It came by default, right? Nice and clean. So with that said, we are gonna go and specify some variables that we need and join this with our BBC combat. Okay, so what we specifically need to do is now go to our BBC combat, and first we'll check if we are in strafe movement or not, because if we are on the free movement, we are always gonna play the forward animation because our character orients to just being always forward. So right over here, right, I'm gonna make a sequence. And right over here, right, I'm gonna make a sequence down over here, and actually it will happen before this, so I'm gonna make some space down over here, and I'm gonna change this to be on the second pin, and the first pin, sorry, we'll simply just get the player blueprint. Gonna get the movement component, which is not that one, right? It's not this one. It's get character movement. There we go. This is what we want. Okay, and with that we want to get the using the desired rotation. So controller, there we go. And if so, we are on strafe, right? So we want to do the change make a branch. This will be here. Double click to make it reroute. And there we go. So now what we can do is get the player BP and get the movement key, or movement direction, I think it was called. And from there, not this one, I want to get the variable direction key. There you go. And from there, what I want to do is get the name, right? And we want to do switch on string. Okay. Convert this into string. This will be untrue. We want to add multiple checks over here, so we would have capital W A S and D. And depending on the value we want to change, if we're going left, right, or not. So let's go ahead and go into the blueprints folder. Let's create an enumerator so that it's easier. So right click, blueprint enumerator, E underscore movement direction.
If you are feeling like you are just struggling under the weight of everything that's on your plate,
and right over here, let's add a new one, and this will be forward. This will be just left. And now on the B
Since when is my mic stopped? Am I audible? I'm audible till now. Let's see when does it end. Maybe it ends in 1 hour. No. Oh, sorry. What am I talking? It might end right now. So let's see. It's yellow, 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 and the shutdown. I guess no. Still going on. Then why did it shut down in the first place? How long has it been since my mic is gone?
Do
We'll be in touch.
I don't see any AI skills here.
implement direction. Self, yeah, direction and here and true. Drag that as an output. Out down the old put in, and then we pressing, right? And we want to return it. Query key. System. There you go. Right, you know, so down, press this. The player is gonna tell, and we're just gonna
My mic was off since a pretty long time and I didn't know disadvantages of having zero viewers. Maybe someone will be there to tell you, okay, but still works. Someday you will get some subscribers, some viewers.
BBC combat. Let's create a new variable, which will be the movement direction, and this will be type e underscore movement. Wait, we have mode and direction. So this, yeah, direction. And then we want to get this, not get, but set it. So for .u, it will be forward. Copy, not get, but set it. So for W, it will be forward, copy paste. For A, this will be the next one, which is left. For S, it will be backward. And then finally for D, it will be to the right. Okay, so now we can use this enumerator to define what we want. Now in the case of forward, we want to also paste it on false, right? Because if we are not using the strafe movement, it will be always false. False to forward. Okay, so right over here, what we need to do is get the movement direction and do a select. Okay, and depending on which one it is, we're gonna play a different animation or not. So this will go into montage to play. Okay, and the forward will be simply the dodge F, so it'll be F. The left animation or not. So this will go into montage to play. Play. Okay, and the forward will be simply the dodge F, as you might know. With that said, we are good to go, and we actually have everything set up to be able to dodge in any direction. So first of all, if I press play, as you can see, when I dodge, it's always forward, right, the direction that the character is facing. But when I'm strafe, as you can see, I go into the direction that I'm moving, which is really cool. So there we go, we have dodging set up, which is so cool. Now I want to make one last thing, which is to quickly go to the character of the third person character, and on the camera boom lag, I want to change this to be actually 5, so it's a bit even smoother, right? As you can see, now the character is a bit even smoother, which I like a bit more. It's more like Souls-like, because I realized that smoother. Now what that I'm moving, which is really cool. So there we go, we have I go into the direction that I'm moving, which is really cool. So there we go, we have dodging set up, which is it'll be to the right. Okay, so now we can use this enumerator to define what we want. Now, in the case of forward, we want to also paste it on false, right? Because if we are not using the strafe movement, it will be always false. False to forward. Okay, so right over here, what we need to do is get the movement direction and do a select. Okay, and depending on which one it is, we're gonna play a different animation or not. So this will go into montage to play. Okay, and the forward or not. So this will false, right? Because if we are not using a select, okay, move forward direction, and now on the BBC comma, let's create a new variable which everything is set up to be able to dodge in. Any
Oh, my mic was off. Sorry, I realized it now. I have a viewer. Okay, pretty good. He came from a basic stream. I went to his stream. Yeah, I'm making a God of War types game, and it's like a soul game. And right now I'm new to Unity. Sorry, my bad. Unreal Engine 5. I used to work in Unity. Even he came from a basic stream. I went to his stream. 1 second. Sorry, my mic is acting weird. Yeah, am I? Yeah, I'm audible now, I guess. Let's see. Okay, engine. 1 second. 1 second. Sorry, my mic is acting weird. Yeah, am I? Yeah, I'm audible now, I guess. So I'm making a AAA game like God of War, and I had an experience in Unity, and I made 2 3 games, but I never patented it, and now I'm working on this. I have played games in which kind, I have played like I used to play GTA 5, God of War. I played, then Uncharted, Last of Us, NFS, Drive Club, MX GP, and on PC I generally I play Hitman. I like Hitman a lot. I mean, it's a diverse game. Many ways to play that game. So right now I'm working on this stage of the game. So I made this health bar and dodge, and for checking the health bar, if I click one, it gives a damage and reduces. I can dodge the enemy when I lock on the enemy. If I lock on him, I won't go back. And right now I'm working on the dodge control itself, and I'm seeing video and doing it. What is the problem? That said is to false or sometime. Then I'm not able to dodge only. So it should be on true. What's the problem here? Okay.
So this will go into montage to play. Okay, and the formation false. Sorry, false.
Boy, am I getting a problem.
Specifically, and I keep and then from and plug that into action. So I just move the So get the player controller, keyword this one, and if so, that's the one that function node, add a new output, and this will be just the
There's a problem in third person character itself, I guess. element will go to key target.
The digit, copy a name, on the pin nodes to reroute them, and cool. We're good to go. So now the only thing left is to go call the get, which will be this that we receive from direction node.
And there's a problem in this, I guess.
And as an input action, this will be this that we receive from our input node itself. And then we
And maybe let's copy this, paste this over here, and let's delete this. Let's continue this here. Let's go to X, Y, a bit down, and or maybe let it remain. Let's see if it's working. If I'm going forward, if I'm going right, if I'm going back, and if I'm unlocked, and then it's fine, it's working pretty fine. So good. Okay, finally started working. Got that. So hard to debug, bro. Have you made any second game? I guess he's not there, but still. Yeah, I have made a second game. Oh, he's there, I guess. Yeah, he's there. Yeah, I made no. This is my third game. I made like two more games before. I never released it, and one was FPS on Unity, and it was, what was another one? I guess it was an open world which I was trying, like a small GTA clone copy. I mean, it never got successful, and it was not that big. I used free assets and stuff, so it was low poly, low quality. So that's why. Uh, that's it. Oh, two. Oh, I read it at second. My bad. My bad. Two dimension. I in 2D. I used to work in this thing. I did like it's hard to explain. So basically, I made games like I made Angry Bird or a 2D multiplayer this thing, but I made it in JavaScript, so I never used the game engine. I directly coded it. So it's not on this laptop though. When I did that like 5 6 years back, so like I used to use code.org, P5 editor. I used to use JS for my game dev in the start. Like I made a dinosaur runner game like Chrome Dino, and maybe almost all Infinite Runner games. Otherwise in 2D I don't have that much experience, and because I don't know pixel art, so is that it? From state. What do you mean? Can you tell again? Can you write it again? I'm not able to understand. Chat is so delayed. I don't know why. Yeah, I am from India. I'm from India. I'm from Bihar. अगर हिंदी में भी बात करना है then it's fine. I mean मतलब अगर I generally talk in English क्योंकि अगर mixed audience है so almost everyone knows English then इसके लिए. Otherwise हिंदी में भी I'm fine. As I told, I'm from Bihar. What about you? हाँ हाँ, तुम्हारे बारे में क्या है, मतलब तुम कहाँ से हो, नाम? Oh, you are from Maharashtra. Nice. I stayed in Maharashtra when I was a kid. I stayed in Nagpur. अभी मेरा लाइव स्ट्रीम करने का पॉइंट ये है, जैसे जैसे अगर धीरे मेरा व्यूअर्स बढ़ता है, सब्सक्राइबर बढ़ता है, मेन मोटो इज नॉट द सब्सक्राइबर, बट इन दी एंड मेरे को एक ऑडियंस चाहिए होगी दैट कैन बाय माय गेम. सो आई मीन आई एम मेकिंग दिस सो आई कैन डॉक्यूमेंट द जर्नी, हाउ एम आई मेकिंग माय गेम. और इन दी एंड जब वो रिलीज होगा, सो एटलीस्ट कुछ तो लोग होने चाहिए जो उसको खरीदे, सो आई कैन गिव इट अ किक स्टार्ट, देन स्टार्ट एडिंग अपडेट्स. What about you? Even you stream? Let's go to your channel. Wait 1 second. Oh, you don't stream. भाई तुझे करना क्या है पर? देखो, मेरा मेन मोटो ये है, अभी मैंने जस्ट 12th किया था, सो आई वांटेड टू मेक अ गेम विच आई कैन पब्लिश ऑन स्टीम. क्योंकि जब मैं गॉड ऑफ वॉर खेल रहा था, आई गॉट हेविली इंस्पायर्ड बाय दैट गेम. मेरे को आई हैड दैट अर्ज टू मेक अ गेम व्हेन आई वाज इन 10th आल्सो, बट अभी मैं इस पे ऊपर काम कर रहा हूँ. सो थर्ड पर्सन है. अभी मैंने थर्ड पर्सन ब्लूप्रिंट्स में अलग अलग एनिमेशंस डाल दिए. मैंने पहले तो ये एक्स डाल दिया है, 1 सेकेंड. एक कस्टम एक्स डाला है यहाँ पे. अभी ये भी ऐड करना है छोटे छोटे डिटेल, लाइक ग्रिप हो गया. अभी ग्रिप तो है नहीं इस पे. और जहाँ तक है अभी मैं ब्लूप्रिंट सीख रहा हूँ बनाते बनाते. ये तो कुछ नहीं है, मैंने कॉम्बैट का भी बनाया था. 1 सेकेंड. कॉम्बैट वाले में एक्चुअली मतलब बहुत टाइम लगा है क्योंकि मैं ब्लूप्रिंट धीरे धीरे ये वीडियो देख के सीख रहा हूँ कि कैसे करते हैं, क्योंकि मेरा भी फर्स्ट टाइम है UE5 में, तो थोड़ा फेमिलियर होने के लिए टाइम लगता है। और बाकी है जहाँ तक, तो मेरे गेम में अभी तक जो जो इम्प्लीमेंट किया, जैसे पहले तो टारगेट फोकस करने के लिए जो ऑलमोस्ट ऑल FPS गेम में रहता है, इमेजिन राइट क्लिक किया, टारगेट लॉक हो गया। तो जब टारगेट लॉक होता है और जब आगे मूव करते हैं या पीछे मूव करते हैं, पीछे मूव करते टाइम वो पीछे फेस नहीं होगा, वो ऐसे आएगा। और इमेजिन मेरे को अटैक करना है, तो अटैक के 3 एक्शन है, एक बार अगर क्लिक किया तो एक होगा, अगर 2 बार क्लिक किया तो स्पैम, अगर स्पैम क्लिक करेंगे तो 3 एक्शन प्ले होता है, नहीं तो वरना एक पे एक होता है। और अगर स्पेस बार दबाने पे अभी वो मैंने डॉज किया है, बाकी अगर जंप का करना है तो वो बाकी आउटसाइड द कॉम्बैट वाला पार्ट हम लोग करेंगे। तो अगर मैं लॉक में अगर आगे जा रहा हूँ तो आगे होगा, पीछे जा रहा हूँ तो पीछे होगा, लेफ्ट पे लेफ्ट होगा, राइट पे राइट डॉज होगा। और अगर हटा दिया, ये लॉक हटा दिया तो जिस डायरेक्शन में जा रहे हैं उधर होगा, और लॉक हटाने पे ये ऐसे पीछे भी आता है। और जहाँ तक अभी हेल्थ बार की बात है, वो 0.8% पे अभी डाला है फॉर द स्टार्ट। और डीबग करने के लिए अगर इमेजिन अपने प्लेयर को हेल्थ दे रहा हूँ, मैंने डीबग के लिए 1 की डाला है, तो 1 की देने पे 0.5 हेल्थ मिलता है। तो अभी एक्शन प्ले किया है, मतलब लाइक छोटा सा एनिमेशन बनाया है, इज गेटिंग हर्ट, और जब लाइक हेल्थ कम हो जाता है ही डाइज, दैट्स ऑल। अच्छा, मुझे भी कुछ वैसा करना है, मैं खुद अभी सी सीख रहा हूँ। अच्छा, यूनिटी इंजन लर्न कर रहा हूँ। हाँ वो भी सही है। व्हेन यू आर डूइंग इन यूनिटी देन प्रॉब्लम यही आता है कि तुम्हें सी शार्प करना पड़ेगा, सी प्लस प्लस भी करना पड़ेगा, एज फार एज आई रिमेम्बर, क्योंकि आई यूज टू वर्क ऑन सी प्लस प्लस, इवन सी शार्प का ऑप्शन है, मेरे को ये नहीं पता। तो अभी तो अनरियल इंजन 5 में एक अच्छी बात है कि ब्लूप्रिंट्स है, सो मेरा कोड बेटर हो जाता है, मेरा कोडिंग वाला पार्ट उतना कोडिंग रिक्वायर नहीं पड़ता अगर ब्लूप्रिंट्स का काम समझ में आ जाता है, क्योंकि ब्लूप्रिंट समझना भी एक खुद में बहुत बड़ा टास्क है, मेरे को भी टाइम लग रहा है वो सीखने में, बट स्टिल कर रहा हूँ। इवन यू, तुम्हें भी बनाना है, आई एम नॉट डीमोटिवेटिंग यू, इवन यू कैन डू इट, बट व्हाट आई विल टेल इज कि यूनिटी पे ज्यादा टाइम ना देकर UE5 पे शिफ्ट हो जाओ, क्योंकि आगे जाके ऑब्वियसली इतना कोड कोई लिखने वाला है नहीं, सब ब्लूप्रिंट पे ही शिफ्ट होने वाला है। हाँ, इफ यू वांट टू बी प्रीसाइज कि मुझे ऐसा करना है, देन यू कैन शिफ्ट टू सी शार्प। ठीक है भाई, चलो गुड नाइट, मैं कर दूंगा लाइक आधे 1 घंटे में स्ट्रीम खत्म कर दूंगा। चलो बाय बाय। मतलब मैं नहीं जा रहा हूँ तुम जा रहे हो तो ठीक है, बाय। और क्या क्या ऑप्शन है सच साथ में? तो
We simply need to right click and create a variable
dodge is done.
and value blueprints folder. Let's create an enumerator so that it's easier.
Now we have to start adding AI
But when I'm
animals,
strafe, as you
AI
can
animal
see,
बनाना
I
पड़ेगा।
go into the direction that I'm moving, which is really cool. So there we go, we have dodging set up, which is so cool. Now I want to make one last thing, which is to quickly go to the character of the third person character character. And on the camera boom lag, I want to change this to be actually 5. So it's a bit even smaller. smoother, right? As you can see, now the character is a bit even smoother, which I like a bit more. It's more like Souls-like because I realized that it's actually smoother. Alright, let's go. Which I like a bit more. It's more like Souls-like because I realized that it's actually smoother. Alright, let's go ahead and finally begin with our AI system. So in the content browser, let's right click and create a new folder, and this will be AI. So in here, we are going to start creating the first assets that we need. So let's right click, go into the artificial intelligence section and create a blackboard.
We are handpicking only 150 students this year from across India for our flagship PG program in startup leadership. These 150 students will learn directly from 100.
Let's call this BD underscore, and we could be like enemy AI or whatever. In this case, let's have a generic AI. Let's create a blackboard. Let's call this BD underscore, and we could be like enemy AI or whatever. In this case, let's have a generic AI name, okay? Because we're gonna use this same blackboard for all of our AIs, okay? Now, a blackboard is essentially an asset that we can put in a lot of different variables that we will use inside of our behavior trees. They're called keys, and you will see how we use them later. So let's right click, go to artificial intelligence, and now create the actual behavior tree. Let's call this BT underscore enemy. And this will be the generic enemy behavior tree for the majority of enemies in the game. Now for our boss, we'll have a different one, which we will duplicate a bit later and change, but that's, you know, in a few more moments when we have the AI up and running, okay? So the next thing that we need to do is open up the behavior tree and to make sure that under details, the blackboard asset is selected to the one that we just created, which is BD AI. Cool. Next, we need to right click and create a new blueprint class, and under all classes, we need to search for AI controller, and it will be this one over here. So just click on select. And this will be BP underscore AI underscore enemy. With that said, let's go ahead and open this new blueprint up. And in the events graph, what we're going to do is on the begin play, simply say run. We have a tree. And we're gonna go ahead and specify which behavior tree, which will be this one. So this AI controller will be added into our enemy actor itself. And the enemy actor itself, the one that will be, you know, running on the world, will possess this a controller, where in the begin play we'll say to run the behavior tree. So we can go ahead and make sure that the behavior tree will run from the AI controller, which is the correct place to do it, okay? With that said, we are ready to go. We just need to right click and create one more blueprint class, but in this case it will be a character, as it will be the actual enemy in the level. So let's go ahead and name this BP underscore enemy. And let's go ahead and apply a mesh just for now. So let's put in like many simple minus 89 minus 90, and for now we are not not gonna put any animations or anything like that, okay? Then in class defaults, we're gonna search for AI. As now, as you can see, if I scroll down, we can go ahead and specify what AI controller class we want. In this case, we want our one that we just created, which is BP AI enemy, which will run the behavior tree that we just created. Now in auto process AI, we are also going to change it to place in world or spawned, just in case you spawn enemies later on in the game so they actually can move around. And let's make one little change, which is to go and search for yaw, disable this, and then in the character movement components, scroll down until the rotation settings and enable orient rotation to movement. That way the enemy's rotation will be smoother by the character movement component instead of by default, okay? With that said, we are actually good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and just drag the enemy into the level. And of course, when I press play, nothing happens because we don't have our behavior tree with any tasks or logic. So let's go ahead and do this right now. Alright, so now let's go inside of our behavior tree, and as you can see, we have this nice graph. So behavior trees work downwards, okay? So from up to down and from left to right, okay? So whatever is in the left, so add a selector node. So this node will essentially go ahead and select between different sequences or tasks depending on some values. The values will be a bit later, okay, with our blackboard and so on. So let's go ahead and rename this to be the state selector, as we will have two different states for now. The first state that we will have will be the idle. So let's drag from here and create a sequence. Let's go ahead and rename this to be the idle sequence. And then the next sequence from here and create a sequence. Let's go ahead and rename this to be the idle sequence. And then the next sequence or state that we want to have is going to be another sequence, which is going to be the chasing sequence. And there we go. So basically this selector will decide if to go to the idle sequence / state or the chasing one, depending on some values that, again, we will add that a bit later. So with that said, in the idle sequence, we are not really gonna have anything because, I mean, it's just gonna be, the player still until we decide what to do. So for now, it's gonna be empty. And then we have the chasing, where we actually want to make the player move around and things like that. So let's go ahead and add some of the logic for chasing so we can start to see our, enemy move around. So what we need to do is create a new task. So you can see that we have a nice shortcut here to create task. Let's click on it. And now inside of our AI folder, let's right click, new folder, and name it tasks. And inside of tasks, let's go ahead and rename this to be task underscore, and then we can have something as chase target.
Does your email feel like a full-time job? Cut the time you spend in your inbox in half with AI-powered professional mail from Who's.
With that said, this is the new task, and we essentially apply logic and code like if it was in normal blueprint. So under functions override, we can essentially get the asset something as chase target. With that said, this is the new task, and we essentially apply logic and code like if it was in normal blueprint. So under functions override, we can essentially get the receive execute AI, which is basically the begin play of the task. So as soon as the task will be, playing and executing over here, it will go through here. So this is the begin play, right? Now what we want to do is simply go ahead and move the actor into a target. So we can just right click, say AI move to, use this node, which is the AI move to node, and now just plug this over here, and the pawn will be the controlled pawn. Okay, that is the AI itself, or the behavior tree. And then, for the target actor, we could specify a target. Now, in a second, we will probably create the target actor, which will be dynamically assigned via a pawn sensing, right? So we can detect by vision with a variable and a blackboard key and everything like that. But for now, just to showcase this, I'm gonna go ahead and just say player character. Okay, so it goes until the player character, but this is just temporary until I show you guys how to make blackboard keys and everything like that. Now for the acceptance radius, let's put this to 180, which is how close it will get to the actual player. And then that's it. On success, we can add a finish execute node and mark that as success. Copy and paste this node, and on fail, we're gonna disable success, and that's it. So if a success, we'll go here and so on, and we're good to go. So now back in our behavior tree, under the chasing sequence, I can just drag and add the chase target task that I just created, and that's pretty much it. Now when I press play, nothing will happen, even though the behavior tree is running. Why? Well, because the idle sequence is at the left and it has priority, as I mentioned. But if I was to go ahead and move the idle sequence to the right and press play, nothing still will happen. Why? Even though the behavior tree is running. Why? Well, because the idle sequence is at the left and it has priority, as I mentioned. But if I was to go ahead and move the idle sequence to the right and press play, nothing still will happen. Why? Well, if I go over here, you will see that in the level there's not a very important actor, which is the nav mesh. So let's go quickly out to the project volumes and drag the nav mesh balance volume into the middle of the level, and then with a scale locked, let's put it to 20. So now when I go ahead and press P on my viewport, you can see that Unreal Engine has calculated all the possible paths that my AI can go and move around. And this is a critical step to create AI in Unreal. Without a nav mesh, you cannot use this nodes of AI and so on. So now you can see that he actually goes ahead and moves around, and he chases me, which is looking really nice. Now, it's a bit too fast, so let's go into the enemy AI, right? So the BP enemy, the actual character in the level, right? And in the character movement component, I'm gonna set the max walk speed to be around 350. So it's a bit less than my 480 that my player character has, okay? With that said, it's a bit better. As you can see, I can kind of run away a bit better from my character, which is nice. And you can see the camera collides with the enemy AI, so let's go quickly to the mesh, scroll down, and set the collision preset to be custom, and then in camera I will be ignore. Then the same with the capsule component. So in collision presets, set this to custom. the collision preset to be custom, and then in camera it will be ignore. Then the same with the capsule component. So in collision presets, set this to custom and camera to ignore. And now, yes, if I close this, we're good to go. The camera doesn't overlap and it's just working fine. So we have the phase state of our behavior tree. Now, of course, we need to add different things. So let's go ahead and expand our logic of AI, which is looking already pretty cool. All right, so now let's go ahead and make that we can transition between the idle state and the chasing state, depending if our character or AI sees us. So let's go inside of our AI folder and open up our BP AI enemy. So essentially our AI controller where we run the behavior tree and so on. So in here, we're gonna add a new component, which is gonna be the pawn sensing. This component allows actors or AIs to have vision and hearing. So in this case, I only want vision for this masterclass. I don't want hearing. So let's go ahead and set the hearing threshold to 0. I don't want hearing. So let's go ahead and set the hearing threshold to 0. Then the LOS hearing threshold to also 0. And then I'm interested in the sight radius. I
can teach you code in Python in just 30 days, even if you've never written a single line of code before. How? Simple. In my
right now set to 5,000. Let's drop it to around 2,000 just for now to play around. The sensing interval is how frequent it will go ahead and sense pawns by vision and so on. For now, 0.5 will work. Then the hearing max sound age 0. I don't want any hearing. And then all by default except hear noises, just disable that. And then the visual angle, we can drop it to around 85, something like that. But you can play around with those, right? So for now, this will work. So if I now go into the events section, we can see an on C pawn. So if I add this into the event graph, as you can see, whenever my AI sees a pawn, we can execute some logic and so on. In this case, what we want to do is set a blackboard key, which is a variable for behavior trees, to be true. Therefore, I can switch off states. So first of all, let's open up our BD AI, which is, as you can see, our blackboard, and we can create new keys, which are essentially variables. Okay, so in this case, I want a Boolean variable, and this will be, seeing target question mark, and that's it. Save, and we're good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and copy the name, and you will see why in a second. So also go ahead and copy the name, and I'll go ahead and copy the name, and you will see why in a second. So also go ahead and copy the name, and I'll go back to our BP AI enemy. So right over here, what I can do is right click and get my blackboard, and it will be through this function. So as you can see, the AI controller has access to the blackboard, which is really nice. And from here, I can directly just say set key or value as. So with this node, as you can see, we can set a value for specific variable types. In this case, we are interested on a bool. So let's connect this over here, and there we go. So you might notice that we don't have a direct reference to the variables, or that we don't have a direct reference to the variables or keys in our blackboard, even if we were to cast to the class. Okay, directly we cannot say like, set seeing target to true. We don't have that option. What we have instead is a universal value node for each variable type or key type, where we can essentially just find the variable by name. So from here I can say make literal name and paste the name that we just copied. And I say that to paste it because it has to be exact. If you make a very small mistake, basically your code will not work and you will be like, why is it not working? So there we go. We can go ahead and use this node to go ahead and use enable disable variables or keys, if they're called like that, in the Blackboard. So let's go ahead and make sure that this is enabled. Very important. So value type ticket. And now with that said, we are pretty much good to go. We have the variable set to true, and that's pretty much it. Now I want to go ahead and create another variable, which is going to be type of object, and this will be the target. Okay, the actual target that we want to attack. So now from here, I can once again get the Blackboard and then set value as, in this case, object. So now from here, I can once again get the Blackboard and then set value as, in this case, object. So from here, I can make again a literal name, and this will be target. Make sure you spell it the same or copy it, which is more recommended, okay? Then the object value will be this one, right? Now I cannot, okay, I can actually plug it in directly, which is cool. I thought we need to cast to object, but no, we are good to go. So there we go, we can plug that over there. So now, first of all, we go ahead and make sure that we have boolean of scene target enabled, and then we set the target, literally the actor that we are detecting. So it doesn't need to be the player, it could be other enemies, right, or other types of things. So back in our behavior tree, we can put our idle back to normal, and I mean, if we do this, it has priority, so it will not move, right? Right now it's in idle, but right now it probably saw the player. I mean, we can also just add a little print over here so we can see this, right? So print string, press play. As you can see, it prints hello at the top left of the screen, which is working. But now it's doing this, but it's not making an impact in our behavior tree. So what we can do is essentially, for our selector, specify different values that the sequences need to have, which are called decorators. So if I right click on the idle sequence, I can add a decorator, and in this case I want a Blackboard decorator because I want to add Blackboard values and keys and so on. So this decorator is essentially like a little, overlay that is added on top of the sequence where I can decide different things. In this case, I add a Blackboard decorator so I can set different keys, right? So in this case,
मैंने सिर्फ टीम नहीं देखी, मैंने स्टडी किया कि हर प्लेयर ऑटोनॉमस प्रिसिजन के साथ कैसे एक्ट करता है.
The observer will be set as self, so every time that the Blackboard changes and we check, it will essentially go ahead and go out of the whole sequence up into selector. And then that the Blackboard changes and we check, it will essentially go ahead and go out of the whole sequence up into selector. And then in the key query, we want this to be is not set. And scene target. So if scene target is not set, aka false, we are gonna go into this sequence. And now we're gonna do the same for our Blackboard decorator of choosing sequence. Select this. This will be scene target, and in this case is set. And in the observer here, it will be self, right? So this is basically just the flow control. On result change, we want to exit all of this back up. That's simply it, okay? Cool. So with that said, you will see that when I press play, the enemy sees me. Why? Well, because it sees me. As simple as that. If I go here and press play, he's an idle. And then if I go in front of him, he sees me. So everything is gone ahead and working, which is super cool, as you can see. So we have a nice state. Now let's make one final thing, which is to go ahead and make sure that it will follow the target actor, not just my player character. So right now, if I go into the chase target task, it goes always to my player character. But no, I don't want that. Instead, what I want to do is create a new variable, and this will be the target, or target actor, better said, right? And this will be of type Blackboard key selector. So not the type object, but Blackboard key selector. And from there, I can get a value from a object. And that's it. So now I can plug that into here. Well, not yet, because I need to cast to actor, because this is an object, right? So plug that in between, and now yes, I can get the final result. And that's it. Everything working just fine. So let's make sure that this is enabled with the eye icon. So in the behavior tree, I select the task, and target actor, I can select the variable, which is target. Okay, and there we go. I'm gonna go quickly to target actor. I can select the variable which is target behavior definer. So let's make sure and target actor with the eye icon. So in the behavior tree, I select the task and target actor and that's it. Everything working just fine. So let's make in between. And now, yes, I can get the final result. And that's it. Everything working just fine. So let's make sure that this is enabled with the eye icon. So in the behavior tree, I select the task and target actor, I can select the variable which is target. Okay, and there we go. I'm gonna go quickly to Blackboard and change target to target actor. Okay. Back to behavior tree, make sure that it changed, yeah, target actor. And then very important, in our AI controller, this should be now also target actor. This is the bad thing about behavior trees and Blackboard, which is just manually typing and so on, so make sure that, but instead of getting all did it, whatever. Alright, so now as you can see, it will still work, but instead of getting always the player character, it gets the whatever actor it saw. So if, you know, if it saw another player, it would go to the other actor and so on, which is working. So there you go, we have everything set up for our base AI, which is working just fine. Alright, so now